A constitutional court application launched by 6 mining communities to have the company's merger with Lonmin reversed. The mining communities said they were excluded from merger talks. However, Sibanye-Stillwater said the merger is practically impossible to reverse as it has been implemented. Let's get more on the story now. We're joined on the line by spokesperson for Sibanye-Stillwater, James Wellsted. James, thank you very much indeed for coming through. Let's just get a sense of the sale. The sale of Lonmin to Sibanye took, I understand, about 2 years to process. What was the rationale behind buying the embattled mining company?
Morning. The rationale was obviously a value one from our side. We saw an opportunity to create value for our stakeholders by buying Lonmin, much the same way we have done through the acquisitions of Rustenburg and Aquarius, which are adjacent to Lonmin. So we are able to unlock synergies between those operations, which will create a much more sustainable and more profitable business, which will then be able to deliver benefits to all stakeholders in the long term.
But what about, look, Sibanye, I understand, has historically been a gold mining company. Why go into platinum?
Well, there's a lot of reasons for it. I mean, as you know, the gold industry in South Africa has been in decline for quite some time and is significantly smaller than it was many decades ago. And, you know, as a company with a fairly, a lifespan that is finite, we need to look for other opportunities to sustain the business and create value in the long term. And the PGM industry was an obvious place to go. There are a lot of similarities with the gold mining. It's regionally, it's in the same area as our mines in South Africa, obviously. Good infrastructure. It's the type of mining we already do at the gold companies. So it made a lot of sense. And obviously the PGM industry was in quite a lot of distress recently. So there were opportunities to buy at a low point in the cycle and create value in that way.
I just want to get a sense of what this means, this merger means, with regards to this group. The newly merged group, which has assets, I understand, in South Africa, Zimbabwe and the US, is now the second biggest miner of platinum in terms of the group metals. What does this mean for Sibanye?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've built a very substantial PGM business in the last 3 years. We're actually the biggest primary producer of platinum in the world, and second biggest palladium producer after Norilsk, which is a Russian company. So we built a very, very substantial company, and we're able to realize a lot of value by consolidating these assets which were previously managed by different owners.
James, wage negotiations, very topical at this time. The next step is the wage negotiations with the labor unions. Just give us an update with regards to the process. How's it going?
Well, it's quite early on in the process. I mean, we only started really at the beginning of July or middle of July. So we've had a couple of engagements with AMCA and the other unions. It's early stages. It's too early to say right now. We are continuing to engage with them, hopefully to reach an agreement that is fair to our employees, but also is sustainable in the long term for the business.
James, as you know, today we're marking 7 years since the Marikana massacre. Are you concerned about the current wage negotiations that could lead to similar scenes?
Listen, I think that's a bit sensationalist, and we certainly are. I mean, that shouldn't be the case. I mean, this is a negotiation. We do it regularly. We've just been through one at our gold operations. That was a bit of a difficult one where we had a 5-month strike. But as stakeholders with similar interests in ensuring a sustainable and profitable company, we should be able to come to a reasonable agreement. So we'll continue to engage with that in mind.
What's the company's feeling, James, 7 years on, post this tragedy, as we commemorate this massacre that happened 7 years ago? What's the feeling there?
Yeah, I mean, we're aware and we understand what led, or there's a lot of complex issues that led to the Marikana tragedy and what happened 7 years ago. And what we need to do is try and work together with all stakeholders to ensure that that kind of incident doesn't happen again. It's a black spot in our history of the country and the mining industry, and we must definitely all try to work together to try and solve the issues and ensure that we never get into that position again.
Is Sibanye-Stillwater playing any role in today's events at the actual site? Have you been invited?
So today is AMCU's commemoration. We've had a series of commemoration events at the operations. We've had prayer sessions at all of the different shafts during the course of the week. We've met with the widows of the fallen miners, and we're engaging with them to try and assist them and find a solution to their problems. We also have provided significant financial support to AMCU for today's event on their request. But no, we won't be participating in the day. It is AMCU's day, so we will be holding our own commemoration in due course.
Of Sibanye-Stillwater spokesperson, thank you very much indeed for your time.